Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Josh Handt, and we are back at the Chiropractic Philanthropist. We have an amazing guest today, a friend for so many years, a rock star, I think, in this profession, Dr. Jenna Bofshever. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
I didn't use your last name. Your last name. I'm sorry.
It's Jenna Bofshever-Alon.
Alone. Yep. I know. I've known you for too long, and I forget these things. I still call my sister her last name Handt, even though it's not same idea.
Always a Handt.
Exactly. Right. So, in our profession, we realize we're more alike than we are different. So tell us a little bit about you, the person you are, the practice you have.
Cool. Born and raised in New York, and then I have a Bachelor of Science in Biological Anthropology from Binghamton, New York, and then went to Life University in Atlanta for chiropractic school. And in between that, worked as a fitness trainer. And after that, I worked as an associate up in Pennsylvania, and then ended up moving down to South Florida, which is where I live now because my whole family moved down here, and opened a practice. We actually celebrated 10 years this month, opened the business. 10 years ago. We're going to throw a big party this summer. And let's see. I am married to a phenomenal husband. I have two beautiful little boys. I have a dog, Coco, and just having a lot of fun in practice part-time right now because I have a 4-month-old, and finding that work, life, mom, breastfeeding, entrepreneur, hustle balance.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about like practice life, even just a little bit before the kiddos, because, they're both young. What kind of practice do you have? We hear we have a pediatric, I have a family, I have a PI, I have a this or that or whatever. What kind of practice do you have?
I call it a lifetime family wellness practice. And
Cool.
It's really got a big focus on pediatrics and pregnancy. A huge portion of our practice is pregnant and babies. And then so much so that we often have men or just like regular women asking, do you take care of men? Do you see non-pregnant people? And I'm like, this marketing stuff really works. Cause usually it's people like, oh, you see kids. We get other people saying, hey, can I bring can I come in? Sure. We do some personal injury. We also have, geriatric patients. It's really from womb to tomb kind of thing. So,
Love it.
Yeah, most people start out coming in for corrective care. We are very much results driven. So most people start out needing more care in the beginning, and then we work on converting them into a lifetime wellness practice.
Very cool. So I want to do a little throwback for a second with Jenna, because we first met, and I think this is exactly where we first met. We met it was the DR, wasn't it? It
was in the Dominican Republic.
In the Dominican Republic. We were on a humanitarian mission trip, and Jenna was a flourishing, happy, no different than she is today. Looked exactly the same student, chiro student. And I was maybe a year or two into practice, maybe. And I was a team leader and, in these mission groups and going down, and I got to spend a lot of time with Jenna. We'd spend a whole night. I remember one night with you and a couple of students, doing adjusting in a room. It was so much fun. So I have such fond memories of you starting and seeing where you are now is just absolutely phenomenal.
It's been a wild ride, right? I think you actually probably taught me how to do seated cervicals on that trip. That was really where I got my hands on a lot of people.
Yeah.
And practice on setup for that. And so many fun memories over the years between New Beginnings and all the chiropractic seminars that we've gone to and spoken at together, and just fun with our families at families' weddings, and just so many great memories in each other's lives. And it really is fun to see how everybody kind of grows and develops, and it's cool.
Yeah, it is very, very cool. So let's do a little shift here. Let's talk about a famous or your favorite inspirational success quote that you have.
So I have two. Am I allowed to share two, or it has
share whatever you want? Okay. Show's yours, girl.
So it's a chiropractic one. And I'm sure if you're a chiropractor, you've heard this one before. It's BJ Palmer's quote: "You never know how far reaching something you may think, say, or do today may affect the lives of millions tomorrow." And I mean, it needs no explanation. It's legit. It's true. You meet one person, you say one thing, one adjustment, one moment of aha, and their whole life, their whole trajectory changes. Another one that I love, which is actually in my email signature, is "Live your life with arms wide open." And it kind of makes me remember to always say yes to things. If you're asked to speak or you're invited to go somewhere or whatever it is, arms wide open.
To be on a podcast.
Yeah. Podcast. Like, let's do this. Live your life with arms wide open. And I like those two.
That's so cool. I love that one. That is my favorite BJ quote. I think I have that. That's my email signature is your quote. So yeah, super cool. And I love wide open, arms wide open. And I guess, thinking about that, that's really neat that, it's being open to opportunity and saying yes, even when it may be scary, because you don't know where it's going to lead you.
What was interesting is that I just took a 3.5 month maternity leave, which is like really crazy because the practice was really my first baby for so long. Like all of my time, money, energy, everything went into that. And then when I had my first son, when I had Dylan, that really was my baby, but it was like I had two babies because it was really trying to find the balance between being a mom and also being an entrepreneur. It's one thing when you're just showing up, but when you have to also manage people and run the business and make sure that everybody's taken care of, it's a challenge. And now that I have my second human baby, Kai, but also still the office, now it's like I have 3 kids, 3 babies, and kind of trying to figure all of that out. And yeah, I have mom brain even right now. So I'm like going off on tangents. Your job's going to be to take me back.
I will.
Center.
We'll reel you in, baby. We'll reel you in.
Reel me in, Josh.
So we have this is a perfect time then. So let's shift into one of the biggest struggles you think you've had, going through practice or even life, and share that with us. And if you're willing to, and then what you've learned, going through and coming out the other side of that crisis or challenge or struggle.
So I do remember where I was going with that last thing, by the way, but biggest challenge was something that I don't go into too much depth about, but it was, when I first started my practice, I worked as an independent contractor. So I rented space out of someone else's office. It was a way to keep my overhead low and really decide if I wanted to be in Florida. And I had my first CA that was working for me and with me, and I thought we were in a good place. And so because I was an independent contractor, the office I worked in, they had their own staff, their own patients. Like we were separate, but sharing the space. And I got a call one day from my CA saying that they were no longer going to work for me. They were instead going to work for the doctor that I rent space from. So, and this is over the phone. So should I give you that was fun, right? That was a fun call to get. So should I give you my 2 weeks, or is this my last day? And I was kind of like, what? Because what's everybody thinking over there? That seems kind of weird. And who do I trust and what's going on? And here's the truth, Josh, is that I was really comfortable where I was. My overhead was low. I didn't have to push too much. Like I was helping people. I was having a good time. And that was it. I was comfortable. And as you know, comfortable is the kiss of death. It'll work for a little bit. But my biggest lesson from this whole thing was that things don't happen to you. They happen for you. Because at the time, I really thought this was happening to me. And this was the scariest moment in my life. And now we're looking years later, right? But at the time, this was a really big deal. And I didn't know if I was going to show up at work. Like I didn't trust any of the people that I was spending so much time with anymore. And I didn't know if they were going to be like, get out or do whatever. So I literally had to get in my car and start driving around and within a 3 to 5 mile radius of looking for office spaces. And I'm in South Florida, so there's a chiropractor on every corner. So, there's non-compete. So I had to find a space that wasn't too far from where my practice was that I already had been building up. And that had availability, and I had never opened a business. So I didn't even know what questions to be asking. So I just started calling all my lifelines, like people I knew that were involved in real estate, running businesses and getting an attorney and finding out, okay, how do we do this? But also doing it all in secret because I needed to have everything set up before I was ready to walk and leave from where I already was, but also at the same time being ready that at any moment, like stuff could go down.
Yeah.
So it took a solid year, I want to say, for everything to finish being built and put together. And I had an agreement that we'd give 60 days notice before I would leave. And so when my contractor said, hey, we're 60 days out, I would let the doc know. I was like, hey, here's the deal. Yeah. I was like, peace. There was a whole lot of drama and stuff in between. I'm kind of making it sound like it was no big deal, but like, I'm not the kind of, sometimes when people get stressed out, they say like, I don't eat. Like, I'm not that person. I'm always eating. I couldn't eat for like 2 weeks. I stopped eating when this first happened. I would wake up in the middle of the night having either a nightmare or like the most brilliant business idea ever. It was just this really uncomfortable, challenging, extremely scary time. And it also was really upsetting because I had people that I trusted, both someone that works for me and someone that I was renting space with, who supposedly was like a friend of mine, were friendly, just like kind of stabbed me in the front, not even in the back.
Yeah.
So it was not good. Now I'm obviously over it. And I'm also over it because, again, that happened for me, not to me. So I needed to have time away from that where I could really look back and see, okay, here's why the universe did that, because who knows how long I would have stayed in someone else's space and not really get to step out into my own. Because soon after I left there and we opened the current office that we're in now, we took off and blew up and continued to grow. And we're able to help a lot more people. We've had multiple associates working for and with us, and just really take our game to the next level of helping people choose chiropractic before drugs and surgery and having fun while doing it.
How amazing would it be if you could practice because you want to, not because you have to? Learn how to improve your cash flow and increase your passive income now. Go to moneyripples.com or find their podcast, The Chris Miles Money Show, to learn more.
That's super cool. I mean, you started to answer, I think, maybe the next question I was going to ask, the struggle. I mean, that's crazy. I don't even know if I knew that story. I remember you working as an independent contractor. I remember all of that, but I don't know. Well, obviously it was secret, right? Like you were calling your Florida lifelines to figure out what to do. And that's amazing. I mean, I know where you are now, but holy cow.
And you know me personally, so I'm a very like live out loud, share everything kind of person. And this was something that really forced me to be way more introverted because, especially when you don't know that you can trust people that you are trusting, it was like, I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. Like I even had, if contractors or any workers that were hired to do the job of the build out, if they would call I told them, if you call my office phone, I will fire you immediately. Like you only call my cell phone, because I didn't want to risk, like I didn't know who I could trust and who I couldn't in my space. Like it was not fun. And I've learned this again over the years, just being in business and, having people work for and with you, is that, always just, I didn't let it become a thing where like, I didn't want to still be myself. I still want to be a generous person. I still want to be giving and not, yes, you get burned by things, but you learn from them too. And just always, it's very important to me to have good relationships where we part on good terms. Because even if someone maybe is not staying forever, but there's no reason that it should have to part in a negative way. And I just feel like that whole scenario could have been handled so differently. Like there's so many other ways that could have happened, where we could have all parted ways on good terms. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's quite crazy, but I'm sure you've learned so many leadership skills in that year. I just like hearing you say, like, you call my office, you're fired. Like, I mean, like something like as simple as like dealing with a contractor, like laying the law down and like, this is our strategy. This is what we're doing. Like, I'm looking at that like, that's a pretty neat, like that process sucked, but the skills you probably learned through it are probably for a lifetime.
But what's the coolest part is that the push was given to me. Like I was forced to do that because I didn't feel ready to do it on my own because I guess I was scared. I had never done it before, and it was easy and it was comfortable where I was. So I like to challenge myself to step out and be uncomfortable. And I do that with my team too. And I'm sure they like often hate that about me a lot of times, but I force them and I challenge them to like step up and step beyond what you think your capacity is and push yourself and challenge yourself to do something uncomfortable, because I've only ever see that cause growth in a positive way.
Yeah, true. 100%, 100%. So let's just shift into this then, because we're going in that right momentum right now. we dealt with the struggle. Like what are you like super excited about at the current moment, whether it's life or practice? I know we mentioned the transitions in life and all of the stuff that's going on, but what really is like, I'm so pumped. What is the Jenna excitement about right now?
It's both. It's both because I have a brand new little baby. So I'm so excited to spend time with my boys and hang out with them. But it's also so much fun. Like when I'm at work or I'm in the office, I am having the best time because I'm with my other baby and I love my docs that I work with. I love my team. Like we just have fun together. That's what I'm pumped about. I'm pumped about seeing where we go this next year now that we have our team in place and what that looks like. And especially now that there's more events and workshops and speaking opportunities that are happening in the community. So we get to have a lot of fun with it. Like tonight, I'm speaking at a yoga class for attorneys on the beach. We're doing a yin yoga class. We're going to talk about breath work and chiropractic. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that about you. You bring a lot of fun along with you. Yeah. And I imagine you do the same in practice. So is there something in practice or in life? I would say let's focus practice here since this is a chiropractic podcast, sure. Right? Like a strategy, a marketing thing, or something you're like, I will not live without this in practice. This is a part of who we are.
Celebration. Okay. It's a big part of who we are. So when it's we have these little Aussie bites. Costco sells them. We either have brownie bites or the little quinoa bites. And we keep birthday crowns and candles. And when it's someone's birthday, we light up a candle and the whole team comes out and we clap our hands and we sing happy birthday and all the patients get excited. And we have a big bell that we ring. And I've always been about celebration from day one. And we have, like in a bar, when they have that bell that you ring it when someone gives a tip so everybody knows. Like I've had a bell in the office that we built since day one. And it's when someone graduates from corrective to wellness care, someone gets engaged, someone has a baby, someone has, I don't know, maybe you're celebrating their divorce, whatever it is, whatever that big moment is. We come out, they have an improved HRV score, anything that is, we prevented an ear tube surgery, whatever it is, anything that's a reason for celebration. We ring the bell, we scream about it in the office, first adjustment, we celebrate that too. And everybody gets to be a part of that celebration. So it's like a family in the practice. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Who doesn't love to be loved, right? Really?
My husband said to me, he was like, you do the birthday celebration for everyone? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'd never be your patient. I'm like,
I'd be your patient, Jenna, in a heartbeat, even though I'm not pregnant.
Yeah. You'd be surprised by the people that you would think would never go for it or that would be super embarrassed or shy. Like they like it. They secretly like it.
But yeah, of course they do. All right. So now it's time for us to go to the TCP, the chiropractic philanthropist. What do you call it? The time machine. Let's go back in time. We're going to get Doc from Back to the Future and here we go. So if we go back in time, we get to or I should say it'll be Dr. Jenna right out of chiropractic college. What would you tell to that younger self?
Wow, there's so many things. Okay, number one, learn everything you can about every single aspect of business. Because being a successful chiropractor is not just being able to put your hands on people and help them heal, but it's also about running a successful business, which allows you to put your hands on people and help them heal. So not only honing in on amazing adjustment skills, but also really honing in on business and leadership skills, because the longer I'm in practice, the more I come to realize that this is all about people and managing people and caring for people and loving on people. And the advice would be learn everything you can and know that you can do it.
Cool.
Don't let fear hold you back.
Cool. Very cool. I love that. So now the other end of the spectrum, what do you see in the future for Jenna? Is it Dr. Jenna Chiropractic?
Yep. Dr. Jenna Chiropractic. There's two things I see. One is that we just keep growing the space that we're in. And then there's this other piece of me that also toys with having other locations and expanding our reach so that we really can help more people. And I can't tell you at this day exactly which way that's going to go, because that's something that I'm still figuring out as well. But I really see us having fun, whatever it is that we're doing, changing lives and being successfully rewarded for it, because that's what it's all about.
Very cool. Very cool. So we have 3 final questions and we'll wrap everything up for today. So you ready? These are just going to
Rapid fire.
All right, here we go. So
do I have to answer it super quickly?
No, you can just say it.
Okay.
You can have that New York speed if you need. That's all right. I'm okay with that. I think the audience is, can speed things up or slow things down when they're listening if they need to. All right, first question. Who's the greatest influence on the person who you are today?
Greatest influence on the person I am today. I would have to say one of the top ones up there, Sharon Gorman, because that's who I was an associate for right out of school. And she taught me so much. And that, along with my work ethic, has really taken me far.
Very cool. What is the best advice you have ever received?
One of the best pieces of advice I ever received was actually from Kevin Fogarty, and it was save 10% of everything you make. And doing that from the beginning, even when I had no money coming in, allowed me to be able to open my business and take out a loan because there was collateral there.
Cool. All right.
And also buy a home and do other things.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It keeps growing, right? That 10% grows as income grows.
Yeah.
So what invaluable resource, whether a book or a podcast or something like that you cannot live without?
Can you say Instagram? Is that allowed?
You listen,
or it needs to be like a
there
person.
Are no rules. Go for it.
Social media has really been something that I kind of love and hate, but it helped me build my business. So in the beginning, when there wasn't really Instagram and it was all through Facebook, that's how I moved to an area where I knew no one. And I looked up every single event that was coming to town. And I was at every kind of networking, everything. I went to breakfast with someone, lunch with someone, dinner with someone every single day, and really just met people one-on-one and started going to all of these events. Because Facebook used to be more about that. And now it's more so Instagram, just connecting with people locally who are going through the same things as me, whether it's in work-life balance or entrepreneurial life, and getting to listen to all these awesome podcasts and inspirational stories and live feeds that are going on all the time. That's really something that I can't live without.
Very cool. So where are the best places for other chiros to find you?
Oh, you could find us on Instagram.
I knew I did that.
Yeah. We're online at favoritechiropractor.com. I actually was super psyched that was available when I bought that years ago. So favoritechiropractor.com, or our Instagram handle is Dr. Jenna, DoctorGena. And we're on all the platforms, and feel free to reach out, and I'd love to have fun with you.
Exactly. I love it. Y'all love Jenna. I hope you have loved her so far. She's a rock star. So this has been a lot of fun, hasn't it? I've had a good time.
It's got to be fun.
Yeah. So I want to say from me, from my personal heart to your heart, thank you so much. This has been an absolute blast. I love being able to have this chat with you. And this, of course, the stuff we got to speak about for those 10 minutes before, reminiscing about, our past. Holy cow. It's been a long time. As well years. As exactly, a big thank you from the TCP podcast. I'm sure this is going to go very far and wide. Like your quote, it's got to go. It can reach millions, right? That's the goal here. Right.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
A blast. So everybody, we will have some links to Dr. Jenna in the show notes for you. And we will see you on the next episode. So thank you so much, Dr. Jenna, for giving back today. And everybody, make sure you head over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com to check out all the details.
Bye.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.